During the fall, like many classes before them, the Woodward Oklahoma class of 1992 recently met for their 30th class reunion. And like most small-town reunions, there was a homecoming parade. Friends met for lunch and attended the local high school football game on Friday night. Old friends caught up and reminisced about stories from the past. The class of 92 also met at a local lodge to enjoy food and stories and one other item, a time capsule. A time capsule that everyone had forgotten about, really. It was a dusty Rubbermaid container that was supposed to be opened in 2012 during their 20th reunion, but it was apparently lost and recently found. And here it was. We expected the standard stuff, magazines, music, pictures, and other heirlooms from 92. It was all those items and more. The capsule also contained 3 videotapes. Tapes of what? Well, it seemed no one really knew or remembered what was on the tapes. We didn't have a VCR handy to view them because, well, we weren't expecting them. But I knew what was on the tapes because I'd shot much of the footage 31 years earlier. It was made during a high school event that we called Future Day, and it was actually recorded at the end of our junior year on May 16th, 1991. And what was the footage? Well, I remember it as driving around town showing what the town looked like that day. It was also on-the-spot interviews, asking students, what would they be doing in 20 years? Would they be married? Would they have kids? What kind of job would they have? So I headed home with the tapes after the reunion, and I was going to convert them to a digital format, and after I finished, I thought, I should do these interviews again. The same people 31 years later. Would they be willing to interview again? Did their predictions come true? What was it like living in a small town and being a kid in that video? Well, let's see if we can find out. Hey, Micah, thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Good. We have some old footage of you from 31 years ago, and you made some predictions and told us about what the future was going to be like. So let's watch that clip real quick, and then we'll come back and see what you got right and what you didn't get right, and see and just discuss a little bit. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, wonderful. Here we go. Here's the clip.
In 20 years from today, what do you think you will be doing for a living?
Probably something to do with either biology or chemistry.
Where do you think you'll be living?
In Utah.
What type of family life?
Hopefully I'll be married and have at least 3 kids.
What will be the problems of the world?
Basically the same things we have today, just there'll be more of it.
You have 15 to 30 seconds for any additional comments. Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Okay, let's review it just a little bit. You said that something in biology or chemistry. You thought you'd be doing something in biology or chemistry, right?
Yeah.
Utah, you'd be living in Utah. You would be married. You'd have 3 kids. And so those were the main ones, right? And you said hi to your mom at the end. No one else said hi to their mom. So that was nice. But tell us a little bit about that. So did any of that come? Did you just make those up? Did any of those come true? Do you even remember doing the interview?
I do not remember doing the interview. No, actually, those did not come true. My life went in a completely different direction. I am married. 25, well, almost 25 years that we've been together now, but no kids. That was not in the cards. We tried for a while, but we're unable to do that. And definitely not in chemistry or biology, which I still do miss and I've thought about a lot, but I ended up, I teach 3 and 4-year-old autistic kids. So actually I've thought about how I could even go into a neurology type of a thing with that. Because I'm really interested in everything that has to do with anything that can help my kiddos at school. So
Super interesting. So it was an interest, though. It wasn't something you were just making up off the bat. It was something at the time you did have an interest in.
I really did. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, are you talking to us from Utah today? Did you make it to Utah?
No, I'm down in the Dallas area.
Okay, down in the Dallas area, down here by me. Okay, perfect. What was Utah? Did you have family in Utah? Was there something about Utah What was that, or did you just make that up?
I was this sweet little Mormon girl who thought that I would go to BYU and marry a returned missionary and, live my life up there. And that did not happen, which might have been for the better because I have done things and experienced things in my life that I definitely never would have.
Awesome, awesome. Now, now when you see that person there, right? You're looking at them and you see the clip. I ask everybody this thing. Tell me a little bit about that girl right there, that person right there in that time and space. Tell us about what she was like and what you remember about her.
Oh, I already said that she was the good, sweet little Mormon girl. Would never even skip classes, you know. Um, I was kind of the wallflower. Didn't hang out with a lot of people. My friends were mostly a class above us or a class below. And most of my interactions with people were either through band or tutoring for classes. I would help tutor some people and help them with their homework and stuff. So
Got you early morning before school tutoring. I think I had some of that. You probably helped me out because I was horrible at school and you were really great at school. So it's probably totally true. And now, if you had any advice for that girl, if you could go back and tell her something and she could listen to you, have you thought of any advice that you would give her if she would listen to you?
well, she probably would not because she was convinced of her plans and what was going to happen. And I would tell her not to let boys get in the way. Don't let um, any guy get in the way of what you want to do, and stick to your plan, even if that plan changes, down the road. I do think I ended up doing what I was supposed to do. May not have been what I wanted to do, but I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I think I would have found that path eventually either way. But yeah, I think I just would have told her to the best laid plans and all that. Life can derail your best laid plans. So,
Great answer. Great answer. That's for most people, right? Most people,
yeah,
all of these, all of their predictions were not even close. They were just immature at that time. They were just
right,
reaching
right.
for whatever. Right? Another thing that I ask is, and then we archive the answer, but I'll ask you, what are you excited for in the future? Great answer. Thanks for sharing that with us and go on. Now, as we wrap up here, I give people a chance usually. Is there anything else you want to say or anything we haven't touched or any comments as we wrap up here and move along after all these years?
Um, well, I am sad that I didn't get to go to the 30th. It looks like it was a blast. Um, I couldn't go because of work, but part of me, yeah, I definitely did not go to any of the earlier ones because, like I said, most of my friends were a year older, a year younger. So I wasn't sure if I would even have anything to talk about because I'm still kind of that wallflower. So it would almost be like walking into a room full of acquaintances, but mostly strangers, and not knowing what to talk about.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. And you know what? Really, unless there were people that you kept up with constantly, that's really what it was. And I think that was kind of the interesting thing was getting to know people 30 years later. You had to get to re-know them. Everybody was a stranger to me, or most of
Right.
them was a stranger. There was a few people that I kept up with, but a lot of them, I think I probably connected more with people that I didn't hang out with. I didn't spend as much time with the people that I know or I hang out with because, well, I already know them. There's nothing to ask them or
Right.
to find out, right? So, but I did connect with a lot of people that I didn't necessarily have a connection with back then. I spent a lot more time with them, and it was a good thing. But we definitely hope you can come to the next one, whether that's in 5 years or wherever.
Oh,
We'd love to see
absolutely.
you and see everybody. But wonderful. Well, I guess that's it. If there's nothing else that you can think of, but I so appreciate you taking the time after all these
Absolutely.
years, and now you can go show that clip off to somebody else and
Uh,
and
the
make fun of
the
yourself.
only thing The only thing I have to say is hi, Mom, because I said that last time, so I better say it now.
Perfect circle, all the way back, full circle. Well, thanks, Micah, for taking
Thank
the
you.
time, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Ming Chen, I came all the way to California to interview you and see what's going on. You made some predictions, or at least one prediction, 31 years ago. So we're going to go to the tape real quick and then come back. Okay, you ready?
What are you going to be doing in 20 years, man? What am I going to be doing? I'm going to be smoking crack. 149. Okay, work.
Okay, just the one prediction that you'd be smoking crack. So are you currently smoking crack?
Of course, I'm high right now. I'm high on life, Kenny. No.
Well, you got what? You're 100% then.
I am. No, actually quite the opposite of that.
Okay, well, opposite. No smoking crack.
No,
but-
no smoking crack.
So you're 0. I think you might be the first person with 0%. I don't know.
Look
I
at
have to
that.
check the statistics.
Right?
That's all right though.
That's all right.
So now you looked at the tape and you saw the guy there. Tell us a little bit about that guy at that time and where you were in your life. What about him?
Oh, which guy? There was two guys. There was like you, me, and I think that was Greg Maggard.
Yeah, I think so, but
And Greg Maggard, man.
I want to know you. So tell me about that guy at that time. What was he up to? What was he like?
Well, first of all, chubby cheeks and the mullet. Jesus Christ, right? It's like, what were you all thinking here, right?
yeah,
but
mine
I
was
guess that was
worse than yours.
Yeah,
but go
dude,
ahead.
that was. I was looking at some of your other videos, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. But anyways, right? I think at the time, the guy back then, right? Like, it's funny watching everybody's, videos, and you're thinking, okay, what was I back then? I mean, it's the same thing, right? We talked about fitting in and being. I mean, I was too light in the ass to play fucking football, right? But all our buddies did, and stuff like that, and so didn't really do much sport. Oh, I was on the tennis team. Yeah, I was on a fucking tennis team.
Yeah, you played tennis.
But-
Yeah, I remember
yeah.
that. I remember that.
But I got kicked off. I got kicked off the team. I don't know if anybody remembers. Here,
No,
I
tell me about
digress.
that. I don't know that.
All
Give me
right.
that story.
Yeah, I got because me and fucking Greg Maggard, we fucking showed up to practice fucking drunk one day, man.
Ah,
Like we
okay.
loaded up on Wild Turkey. If none of you know that story, it came out. And then,
I
don't
didn't know
remember
that. I
who
wondered
it
where
was,
you
but
went.
yeah,
Now I know.
Yeah, now you know. So, but it was all good. Dark past, whatever. No, honestly, probably at the time regarding fitting in, right? I think at the time I remember like, for me, high school I just felt was so cliquey, and I didn't really feel like, oh man, well I don't want to be part of that group. They're fucking dumb, and now I sound like a fucking cocky snob, right? And then it's like, well, I don't want to be with that fucking group either because they're fucking dumb too. So we kind of had our own gang. Do you remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was
yeah,
like-
I didn't really. I really wasn't into sports, and I
Yeah.
really wasn't into band. I kind of I had friends, and we kind of floated
Yeah.
in between them, right? We had
Yeah.
a few and here and there, but I really didn't have like a. Some people may be in a kind of a set group. I really didn't
Right.
have that.
Yeah, so it was like you, me, right, Matt, Mateo, and stuff like that, who's been our brother forever, right?
Absolutely.
And then like Ryan, Moore, Kurt, Myers, and that was it. That was our crew, and we all had our separate friends outside of that too, and or groups or whatever, and cliques. But I was always like, you guys should join this. I was like the mob boss. I felt like you guys should join this fucking thing. But wait, we're too fucking cool to let you guys in. Now it was like everything I despised, I've become, right? But
now, did you
No, so-
have any idea of like what you wanted to do as a job or anything like that?
yeah,
at
I'm
that
going to
time?
get into
Or
that.
did
This
you?
is my long ass.
Okay, go ahead,
Guy back then.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
no,
off.
no, no. So the guy back then was like, I think it was just one. It was just I thought the interview was. I'm like, this is silly. I'm just going to give a silly fucking answer, and so be it. So I did, and it was one of those things where, well, who was I at the time? I think all of us dealt with insecurities, right? I had my own too. I always felt, for me, I wanted to get the fuck out of Woodward. I knew that much. A lot of that too was like my parents, right? Just, God, being fucking Asian kid in like middle of Oklahoma, and like the only one. And this is why I thought Beto's story was so endearing. Just to kind of hear his thing and his story, and how he said, oh well, what was it that yeah, he was like Mexican on the outside, and right on the
he
inside or
wasn't quite
whatever.
accepted by both groups.
Yeah.
He felt kind of an outcast between them.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Yeah,
later,
absolutely.
when I'm going to digress again, when I went to college at UCSB out here in California, and I was around other Asian American kids, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're from fucking Oklahoma. You're a fucking banana." I'm like, "What the fuck is a banana?" Yellow on the outside. I'm like, "Fucking yellow? That's fucking derogatory, man, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I even knew that." And but like the joke is, right, yellow on the outside, white on the inside, stuff like that. I think we're like a hazy shade of tan as opposed to yellow. But anyways, let me go back on track. Yeah, so the guy back then, insecurities like everything else. I think I always had a confidence that I knew where I wanted to be. Of course, you guys know music's been my passion. And I feel that's kind of, you guys remember, I'd sit in my fucking room and practice for fucking 10, 12 hours a day. I wish I would fucking have that luxury now, but life and, kids, chaos gets in the way. And
Yeah, you played a lot of music, exposed to a lot of music back then. I remember you listened to, I do remember you taking a lot of music in. Robert Johnson, blues, guitar, Clapton, every type of stuff. That you did listen and move through a lot of music. I remember that.
And I played in bands in college too. Good times. Made some friends, played music, played in bands and everything. And then, after college, it was just like, well, what the fuck do I want to do with my life? And trying to figure that path out. But back to the smoking crack thing, and this is the irony. I know it's a long-winded story, but I actually fast forward a few years later from, several years later from, college and all that. I ended up, this kind of explains the reason why I was off the grid in terms of social media for like many, many, many years. Was I ended up working for the government. I ended up working for the DEA, was my first agency. So if you can believe it or not. So I was federal agent, DEA agent, special agent. I did that, worked undercover and all that stuff. So just different from, smoking crack, no, right? But my God, how I ever passed the polygraph and the psych exam, just
Have no
crazy.
idea.
No idea, right? But I probably shouldn't say that. But anyways, it's all good. And then I spent about 15 years in the government, military too. I did 8 years in the Army. So it was all a path, because then that was my interest and that's what I wanted to pursue. And that was great. And, kind of got burnt out on it. And now here I am.
There you are.
And now, and then 5 years ago, I started this band, and I feel like my life has come full circle in terms of kind of that.
Kind of what your passion was. In the
kind of
beginning.
my passion was.
Kind of stopped, assessed what you were doing, and
Right.
decided to kind of go with the passion of music again.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And it's funny because when I got on social media, and this is how I connected with a lot of people from back in the old days, was we, people started following the band, and I had to create a profile. Matt West set the whole. I give him credit for being Code 4's social media director, because he set up our web page and social media account. But he had to create my profile, so he used me, and then now people are stalking me from the old days and stuff, and they found me. And no, it's kind of cool to reconnect. So.
Yeah.
And then flash forward about a year and a half ago, where I became Facebook friends with like Brendy Hamilton and stuff like that. And she asked me, "Oh well, hey, our 30 years coming up, like next year. Are you going?" And I pretty much missed every reunion. It was just happenstance at the time. I think 10 years I was just still trying to figure out my path in life, and then 20 years it was just the job, man. I was overseas at the time, and there was just no possible way. And so, 30 years, it was just like, why not? And, coming back to the reunion, it was a trip to see everybody, and, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, everybody had, I think everybody connected well.
It was
They
a
had
good time. Yeah.
And then another one.
Yeah.
What are you excited about for the future?
Right.
I like it. Now, we've archived that.
Yeah.
Whether you liked it or not, it's archived.
God.
Now, as we wrap up here, is there anything else you want to touch on, or anything else you want to say, or any bits of wisdom as we kind of come into the wrap up here?
Okay, yeah. So I think you guys have heard me say this all the time on some of my Happy Friday posts, right? Well, first of all, I was going to say, I'm gone for 30 years. and then I make an appearance. I get back on the grid. I get on the grid or on the line, right, or whatever the fuck it's called, on Zuckerberg and all his fucking bullshit platforms. But I have to have it for media, and then you get sucked in. I think the thing I say on there is life's too short, so live every fucking minute, and live it. Yeah, that's what I would say. Live it to your best. I think talking to some of our classmates at the reunion, that's it, man.
Wonderful, man.
And take things moment by moment. That's it. You never know.
I appreciate you taking the time for us. We
All right,
went the
buddy.
longest to get your interview than anyone else, physically.
Right?
But,
Look
we went
at
over
you. I
here and
appreciate you coming out all this way. That's right.
We'll talk to
Stick
you later,
around.
brother.
All right, dude.
Bye.
All right, late.
Shut the door, shut the blinds, and swat him. Get up, James.
What's a SWAT so the people in the future will know?
Huh? No, SWAT for people in the future? Get up, I'll show you, James. Here, you gotta grab it for that. I know. A little construction going on in there. Turn around the other way.
Oh, you're going to archive this, right?
Yes.
Fucker. Don't archive this.
Now I'm
This is what's
archiving
going-
this.
No, dude.